They thought it was over. They laughed as they shoveled the dirt onto your name, convinced they had won. But you're here, at God Connection, because you feel that shift in the universe. This isn't just a feeling, it's a confirmation. The person who tried to destroy you is now facing a divine investigation, and you are about to witness the greatest reversal of your life. They thought they buried a victim, but they didn't realize they had just planted a seed protected by God Himself. Stay and watch, because their entire false world is about to come crashing down. Graves leave evidence. Chosen one. This wasn't some random twist of fate. This was justice in motion. You were betrayed, humiliated, and left to pick up the emotional wreckage while they walked away, smiling as if they had won. But they didn't realize that when you destroy something pure, something protected by the universe, it creates a ripple that always returns stronger than the original blow. No matter how clever they thought they were, betrayal always comes with an echo. And that echo is called investigation. Imagine setting fire to someone's life, then pretending you're just enjoying the warmth. That's exactly what your ex did. They sabotaged your peace, turned people against you, and then acted like they were the victim. But the universe doesn't let that slide. Fire burns fast, but smoke lingers. And that smoke has started to trail straight to their doorstep. Reports, investigations, eyes watching. They thought they escaped, but the exits are closing fast. Psychologists have found that people who intentionally manipulate and betray others are far more likely to attract moral or legal consequences. Why? Because once someone lies easily, they don't stop. They get bolder. They escalate. That's when the universe steps in with correction. And correction isn't gentle. Chosen one, your strength and energy are part of something greater. This message isn't just about revenge. It's about awakening together. By sharing this truth, we spread light in a world overflowing with shadows. What you're experiencing now isn't coincidence. It's alignment. This wasn't just a bad breakup or a toxic relationship. This was a calculated takedown. Your ex didn't just leave. They tried to destroy your name on their way out. They turned your pain into their performance, aligning themselves with gossipers and energy leeches, hoping your fall would elevate them. But you didn't retaliate. You stayed still. You stayed silent. You let the universe take notes. And now those notes are being filed as evidence. When people try to bury you, they're really digging their own grave. Every lie, every fake story, every manipulation leaves fingerprints, text messages, conversations as receipts. The universe gathers these fragments and presents them at the perfect time. And that time is now. Over 70% of manipulative people repeat the same toxic patterns in their next relationships. They didn't stop after you. They just moved on to new victims. And when enough people report smoke, someone starts looking for the fire. That's why their name suddenly feels heavy. Why certain doors are quietly closing. Why they're no longer the charmer they used to be. It's not bad luck. It's consequence. You didn't curse them, chosen one. You didn't have to. You healed. And that was enough. Because balance always returns, and the universe always collects its debt. The sweetest revenge wasn't your rage. It was your peace. They left, expecting to see you broke and desperate, chasing after them. But what they saw instead was your glow up. You rebuilt. You evolved. They checked your page and saw progress. They asked around and heard whispers of your rise. That's why they're haunted now. Because nothing tortures a betrayer more than seeing the person they tried to destroy shining brighter than ever. So when the investigation began, spiritual or emotional or literal, it wasn't random. It was earned. The universe always speaks in patterns. And right now, those patterns are closing in. Their charm is fading. Their lives are collapsing. Their mask is slipping. They're sweating under the same spotlight they once used to humiliate you. Don't be surprised when they reach out soon, apologizing, deflecting, or pretending to be the victim again. That's what people do when karma starts knocking. But you owe them nothing. Not your attention, not your forgiveness. Because the moment you stopped responding, their karma began forming. What you're feeling right now isn't revenge. It's release. That lightness in your soul, that's justice. That intuitive knowing that something's shifting behind the scenes, that's confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not imagining things. When someone hurts a chosen one, the universe becomes their shadow, watching, waiting, and eventually moving in. So keep your head up, chosen one. While they're being investigated, you're being elevated. While they're explaining themselves behind closed doors, your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't even entered yet. That's the reversal. That's karma. You didn't just survive. You transcended. The same ex who mocked your silence is now being silenced by consequence. Let the universe handle the rest. Because the truth is working in your favor. And this is only the beginning. Stay alert. Stay grounded. Stay chosen. Because your light just exposed everything they tried to hide. And thank you for standing right here where truth always finds its way. What's coming next runs deeper than you think. Layer by layer, we'll uncover how your betrayal triggered a chain reaction they never saw coming. If you've ever wondered whether karma was real, you're about to witness it firsthand. Slow, sharp, and merciless. Now let's break this open step by step. Chapter 1. They set the trap. Now they're caught in it. The most dangerous illusion is thinking you'll never get caught while playing with someone built to survive everything meant to destroy them. They laughed, didn't they? Thought they had you figured out. Played you like a toy, tossed your love aside, and walked away smug, convinced there would be no consequence. But look now. The same ex who rewrote your story with lies is being examined by people who don't miss details. Professionals, investigators, truth seekers, cold eyes that see through charm. These aren't emotional enemies. These are trained minds, dissecting your ex's trail piece by piece, the same way they once studied your emotions to manipulate you. That scrutiny is now their mirror, and this time it's not for love. It's for exposure. Every secret they buried is surfacing, every deleted text, every shady deal, every discarded person. It's all being brought to light. That mask they wore so perfectly, it's cracking under truth's heat. They thought they were untouchable, the puppet master pulling strings. But now the puppeteer is the puppet, and the strings belong to forces far greater than them. Why now? Because timing is the universe's favorite weapon. It waits until the betrayer feels safe, confident, untouchable, and then the lights come on. Suddenly, their past starts screaming through the cracks they tried to seal. They thought they could light fires and walk away clean. But fire doesn't negotiate. Fire consumes. And now they're choking on their own smoke. The irony, they burned your name to the ground, but now theirs is under a microscope. While they're a case file being examined, you've been cleared. While they're explaining themselves, you're being elevated. That's the power of balance. While they celebrated your breakdown, they were building the stage for their own downfall. And chosen one, your only job now? Keep watching. The show has just begun. Chapter 2. Their lies just became evidence. You can outrun a rumor, but not a record. Truth doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door down when it's ready. They called it drama. Now it's called documentation. The same mouth that lied the loudest is now silent under questioning. Let's be brutally clear. You were never crazy. You weren't dramatic. You weren't bitter. You were right all along. They just weren't ready for a truth that leaves no room to hide. You tried to speak out. You tried to warn others. You tried to explain the pain that lived in your chest. But every time you opened your mouth, they laughed. They called you emotional, dramatic, unstable. They said you were making it up, exaggerating, seeking attention. Yet now, the same truth they buried so carefully is clawing its way back to the surface. Not as gossip, but as proof. Imagine being mocked for crying while someone destroyed your reputation, and now watching that same person scramble to explain themselves to people holding evidence in their hands. They told you to let it go, to move on, to stop talking about it, all while they continued their campaign of quiet lies. But now those lies are being dissected line by line, by people who don't care about charm or excuses. It's no longer emotional. It's procedural, and that's what terrifies them. This is where karma becomes paperwork. They thought the game would stay in the shadows. Thought gaslighting you would erase your reality. But you didn't just survive. You documented. You remembered. You trusted your intuition. And while you were healing, the truth was sharpening its teeth behind the scenes. Lies spread quickly, but facts stick forever. Ever wonder why they tried so hard to discredit you? Why they painted you as unstable or obsessive? Because your truth was a direct threat to their illusion. They knew that if even a fragment of your story reached the right people, it would be game over. So they smeared your name to keep theirs clean. But now, the same words they dismissed are being quoted, time-stamped, filed as official evidence. What they once mocked as drama is now labeled documentation. Imagine watching the same people who ignored your pain, now whispering behind closed doors about what they've discovered. Imagine seeing the same text messages you once cried over, now printed in reports, screenshots, voice notes, testimonies. Energy doesn't lie, chosen one. When too many people start feeling it, when patterns repeat, when timelines align, truth becomes undeniable. You might ask, why now? Why not sooner? Because the universe times truth perfectly. The longer a lie lives, the deeper it traps the liar. They had countless chances to admit fault, but they didn't. They doubled down, added layers of manipulation and deceit, until the weight became unbearable. Now it's all collapsing at once. The higher the tower of lies, the harder the fall. They built a castle out of sand, decorated it with charm, and invited the world to admire it. But tides don't warn. They arrive quietly, consistently, until one day, everything is washed away. And while they scream that it's unfair, everyone else is simply reading the signs you saw long ago. Think of it like this. Someone plants fake flowers to impress the world. From a distance, they look perfect, vibrant, beautiful, flawless. But with time, the sun exposes what's fake. The colors fade, the plastic cracks, and everyone sees it was never real. That's your ex, a walking illusion, now exposed under the light of your truth. Will they ever admit what they did? People like that rarely confess. But it doesn't matter. The investigation is louder than their denial. They can cry, deflect, or play the victim. It's irrelevant because this isn't about opinions anymore. It's about evidence. And you, chosen one, are being vindicated without having to say another word. This is deeper than closure. This is divine justice. You didn't have to beg for it. You didn't have to prove anything. You endured. And now the universe is delivering what you could never chase down yourself. The lies that once made you doubt your worth are now being cross-examined. The betrayal that broke your heart is now the rope tightening around their own credibility. And here's the truth. It's only the beginning. Once the truth rises, it doesn't stop with one person. It spills into circles. It spreads into networks. People who once supported them start pulling away. People who once doubted you begin connecting dots. Even those who stayed silent now feel the discomfort of complicity. Because truth doesn't just expose liars. It exposes those who applauded them too. So breathe, chosen one. This moment is heavy, but it's holy. You're not just witnessing karma. You're watching alignment. Your pain is transforming into clarity. Your silence has become a storm in their life. You didn't need revenge. You just needed patience. And now the universe is doing the rest. Let them scramble. Let them twist the story again. Let them drown in their own contradictions. It won't matter because they're not up against your emotions anymore. They're up against evidence. And evidence doesn't flinch. Evidence doesn't cry. Evidence just is. Hold your head high and watch it unfold. You won this moment by staying clean while they played dirty. Let their own words burn everything they built. You don't need to prove anything. The truth already has. Chapter 3. They played with fire. Now they're screaming in the flames. The match they struck to burn you down just lit the fuse on their own downfall. They couldn't kill your spirit, so they tried to scorch your name. They lit fires with their lies, hoping the smoke would blind the world from seeing who you truly were. But chosen one, fire remembers. And the one thing they forgot is that flames don't care who started them. They spread. They consume. Now those flames are dancing at their feet, burning through the illusions they built. They thought you'd collapse under the heat, but you walked through it, ash-covered, exhausted, but undefeated. While you rebuilt quietly, they kept feeding the fire with ego, convinced karma had lost their address. But now it's arrived, and it's not knocking softly. The same blaze they created to destroy you is devouring everything around them. Ever wonder why everything's falling apart for them at once? Why people are questioning their story now? Because the universe keeps receipts. What seems like chaos is actually precision, justice, and perfect design. The investigation isn't just about uncovering evidence. It's about exposure. It's about truth stepping into the very room they thought they'd locked shut. Chapter 4. They declared war, not love. And now they're losing it. They didn't just break up with you, chosen one. They broke into your soul and tried to rob your peace. Let's call it what it really was. It wasn't heartbreak. It was psychological warfare. They didn't quietly walk away. They launched a full-blown emotional assault disguised as affection. What you thought was love was actually an ambush, and you were the target from the start. They smiled in your face while plotting your breakdown. They studied your heart not to understand it, but to weaponize it. They took your trust and twisted it until it hurt. They didn't just hurt you. They fed off your suffering. They laughed at your healing, mocked your growth, and turned your pain into entertainment. That's not love. That's cruelty wearing perfume. And the cruelest part? They thought they got away with it. They thought karma was just a bedtime story told by the weak. But karma doesn't sleep, chosen one. Karma doesn't blink. Karma remembers names. It waits, patient and precise, collecting every tear they mocked, every lie they told, every smirk they gave when you were breaking. And now the bill has come due, with interest. They declared war on the wrong soul, and the universe, the ultimate strategist, is now making sure they feel every wound they ever inflicted, piece by piece, blow by blow. What they thought was a game of dominance has become a masterclass in consequences. Chapter 5. They fed on control. Now they're starving for it. Power built on manipulation always collapses under the weight of its own lies. Chosen one, it was never love. It was control. What they wanted wasn't your heart. It was your submission. They craved dominance the way an addict craves a fix. And every guilt trip, every silent treatment, every mind game was another hit to feed their addiction. They wanted to feel like gods in a world ruled by their own insecurity. They couldn't handle genuine love. It terrified them. So they replaced vulnerability with control because control felt safer than truth. But control built on lies burns out fast. And now they're choking on the ashes. Imagine someone holding a mirror to your face every day, telling you the reflection is broken, so you depend on them to tell you who you are. That's how they operated. They drained you to inflate themselves. They believed that making you doubt your worth gave them power. But here's the truth. Strong people empower, weak people control. And nothing exposes weakness faster than losing the person they couldn't dominate. Now they're starving for control that no longer exists. The same fire they used to blind you is lighting up their own shadows. They can't stand the light now. It's too honest, too revealing. The illusion has collapsed. The game is over. And the moment you walked away, their empire of lies began to crumble. Chapter 6. They tried to escape the fallout, but karma has their address. You can delete the messages, but you can't delete the energy that sent them. They thought they could walk away untouched, leaving you bleeding in silence while they danced in freedom. But consequences don't need your permission. They arrive unannounced, exactly when they're meant to. They wanted to see you broken, but now they're the ones living in fragments. The laughter that once mocked your pain has been replaced with sleepless nights, nervous scrolling, and the constant fear of being exposed. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. Imagine someone throwing stones inside a glass house, laughing as it shatters, only to realize the shards are slicing their own feet. That's your ex now. Every rumor they started, every lie they told, every secret they twisted, it's all circling back. Name by name, word by word. Their own energy has turned against them. They thought they were untouchable, but now every step feels like walking through a maze with no exit. They can't rest. They can't hide, because the echo of their actions is chasing them down. Do they regret it now? Yes, but not out of remorse. Out of fear. They're not afraid of karma because it's mystical. They're afraid because it's accurate. The universe doesn't miss details. It tracks them all. And every dark move they made is returning like a boomerang, faster and sharper than they ever imagined. They started a war thinking they'd win easily. But the war didn't end. It just changed sides. Now they're fighting against the same storm they created, and the universe is ensuring they lose every round. Chapter 7. They called you too much. Now they can't handle the fallout. They said you were too sensitive, too emotional, too dramatic. But what you really were was too accurate. Chosen one, you were never too much. You were simply too real for people living in denial. What you felt wasn't ordinary heartbreak. It was a spiritual ambush, a betrayal that pierced your soul far deeper than words could ever describe. And while they mocked your tears and rolled their eyes at your pain, the universe was quietly building a case in your defense. They underestimated you because you loved deeply, because you cared, even after they gave you every reason not to. They mistook your silence for weakness, not realizing it was divine restraint. Your stillness wasn't surrender. It was power gathering momentum. Your heart wasn't fragile. It was forgiving. And now they're choking on the very peace they tried to steal from you. Their mind is restless, their sleep fractured, their world unraveling beneath the weight of their actions. Imagine mocking someone for bleeding, only to wake up and realize the wound was your own. That's their reality now. The kindness they dismissed as naive is the same energy exposing them. The strength they doubted is the force pulling them apart. The love they misused has become the shovel, digging up their downfall. So, no, you were never too much. You were just too genuine for someone who couldn't face their own reflection. This is the truth of your journey. And if this message from God Connection is speaking directly to your soul, take a second to affirm it. Subscribe to God Connection right now and join this family of chosen souls. Your energy fuels this light. And if you feel called to support this mission and help us spread these truths to others who are healing, please consider using this super thanks button below to send a $10 donation. Every bit of support is received with gratitude and helps us keep this channel a beacon for those in the dark. Now, let's continue, because the next part explains exactly what they're drowning in. Chapter 8. They replaced you with chaos. Now they're drowning in regret. They didn't lose you, chosen one. They lost the only peace their chaos ever tolerated. They thought leaving you meant freedom. They thought they could walk away and win. But freedom without peace is just a new version of hell. And that's exactly where they're living now. On the surface, it may look like they've moved on. New faces, new smiles, new distractions. But behind closed doors, they're unraveling. You weren't just another chapter in their story. You were the calm in their storm, the anchor that kept their spirit from drifting into darkness. And now that your energy is gone, every night feels longer, every silence heavier. Imagine sprinting toward what you think is paradise, only to discover it's an empty room full of mirrors, reflecting your own damage. That's their world now. Every laugh feels forced, every connection hollow. They try to fill the void you left, but all they find are shallow souls who can't match your depth. They replaced peace with chaos, and now they're choking on the noise they created. No matter how far they run, they can't escape one truth. You were the only thing real in a world built on lies. You were authenticity in a sea of illusion, and they traded that for temporary attention. Now, even surrounded by people, they feel alone because your energy wasn't just present. It was sacred, and they'll never find it again. Chapter 9. They traded a diamond for dust. Now regret is all they breathe. You weren't just a blessing. They were simply too blind to recognize it. They thought you were replaceable, convinced that love was something easy to duplicate. So they chased whatever sparkled, mistaking glitter for gold. But glass only shines until it cracks. Now they're surrounded by empty conversations and forced laughter. The people they chose over you can't carry your energy for 5 minutes. Chosen one, you weren't just a lover. You were their mirror, their grounding force, their peace in the middle of chaos. And now without you, they're adrift in regret. Every fake smile feels heavier, every night feels colder. Every silence echoes your name. Imagine giving up water in the desert because you mistook a mirage for an oasis. That's what they did. They traded substance for illusion, value for vanity, truth for thrill. But when the excitement faded, they were left with nothing but the sound of their own emptiness. Regret doesn't whisper. It screams. They didn't just lose you. They lost stability, protection, and purpose. Now they're realizing what you were too humble to say. You were the rarest thing they ever touched. And now that it's gone, they can't breathe without the taste of what they lost. Chapter 10. They broke the shield. Now they're getting hit from all sides. You weren't their weakness, chosen one. You were their shield. And now they're feeling every hit you once absorbed for them. They never realized what you truly did. You didn't just love them. You protected them. Your presence was divine armor, a force that quietly kept chaos, misfortune, and emotional storms away. But they mistook your calm for indifference. They mocked your peace. They laughed at the very energy that was saving them from themselves. And when they threw you away, they threw away their only protection. Now look at them. Things aren't flowing like before. The luck they bragged about has dried up. Opportunities vanish. Friendships crumble. Why? Because when you disrespect sacred energy, the universe responds. What they're facing now isn't bad luck. It's justice in motion. The blessings they enjoyed in your presence were never fully theirs. They were borrowed light from your soul. And when they dishonored that light, the flame went out. Imagine breaking your umbrella in a thunderstorm, then wondering why you're drenched. That's their life now, drenched in chaos, exposed to the storm with no protection left. Every setback, every closed door, every sleepless night is not random. It's a correction, because the universe never rewards betrayal, especially not against someone who was protecting them the entire time. Now they're standing in the open, stripped of grace, and the storm has only just begun. Chapter 11. They went silent, but guilt screams louder than words. They ghosted you to feel in control, chosen one. They thought silence would make them powerful. That disappearing without closure would leave you powerless. But silence isn't peace. It's guilt wearing a mask. You don't ghost someone you don't wrong. You ghost them because deep down, you know they saw the real you, and that truth terrifies you. That's exactly what happened here. They thought vanishing would erase accountability. But energy doesn't work that way. You can block calls, but not karma. You can delete messages, but not memory. And now the guilt they tried to silence is devouring them from the inside. It shows in the flicker of their eyes, in their sleepless nights, in the nervous laughter they fake at parties. They're haunted, not by you, but by what they did to you. They've built a prison out of their own silence. Every night, the truth they tried to bury crawls back beneath their skin. That's what guilt does. It doesn't need words to scream. It whispers in stillness. It shakes them awake in the dark. It hides behind every anxious breath. They thought they escaped, but they didn't. They're carrying the weight of their actions in their chest, their mind, and behind every smile that no longer reaches their eyes. They silenced you, but now their own silence is screaming louder than anything you could have ever said. Chapter 12. They disrespected the gift. Now they're paying the full price. They thought you'd always be there, chosen one, until your absence started shouting louder than your loyalty ever did. They didn't just cross boundaries. They erased them. Every time you forgave, they mistook it for permission. Every time you extended grace, they thought it meant you'd never walk away. They confused divine patience with weakness. And now the universe is teaching them the cost of that disrespect. And this time, it's non-refundable. They played games with someone sent to protect them, to elevate them, to cover them. You weren't just love. You were a shield. And when you went quiet, they didn't realize that silence wasn't surrender. It was power. It was the moment everything shifted. Because when your energy left, their blessings went with it. What once flowed now feels blocked. What once came easy now feels coerced. Every step they take feels heavier. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. When you break the spirit that was holding your world together, your own world starts to collapse. Imagine unplugging the light source in a dark room, then blaming the room for being dark. That's what they did. They shattered the energy that once protected them. And now they're stumbling through the darkness they created, confused, frustrated, and exposed. You weren't weak. You were rare. You were sacred. And when they disrespected that, they activated a divine correction no apology can undo. Now they're living the price, and the interest is still rising. Chapter 13. They chose a knockoff. Now they're craving the real thing. You can replace a person, but you can't replicate a soul, chosen one. They thought swapping you out would silence the emptiness inside them. They thought a copy could fill the void you left. But now they're learning the hard truth. Cheap replacements crumble under real pressure. They traded your depth for surface-level attention, your authenticity for illusion. They chased excitement, thinking it would heal what they broke. But fantasies always fade. The new person might wear your scent, mimic your words, even echo your style. But they can't replicate your energy. They can't connect on a soul level. Because you weren't just love. You were transformation. You were an experience. A divine connection they'll never feel again. Imagine replacing a rare painting with a printed poster. It looks fine from afar, but up close, the difference is undeniable. You feel it. They feel it. Every forced laugh, every quiet moment, every night they lie awake, convincing themselves they made the right choice. All of it is haunted by you. The emptiness they're drowning in now, that's the echo of your presence. That's what happens when you trade something eternal for something temporary. They didn't move on. They settled. And now they're realizing, too late, that nothing and no one will ever compare to you. Chapter 14. Your rise became their collapse. They tried to bury you, chosen one, not realizing you were a seed. What they thought would end you only planted your rebirth. Every tear became water. Every betrayal became fertilizer. While they mocked, you grew quietly, powerfully, beyond their reach. Now your success blocks their sunlight. The pain they planted bloomed into your strength. And your glow has become their shadow. They scroll in silence now, haunted by what they lost. They can't admit it out loud, but their downfall began the moment you stopped needing them. They tried to destroy you and instead created the very version of you they feared most. Stronger, wiser, unstoppable. They're not even opponents anymore. Just spectators in a story they thought they controlled. Your rise turned into their reflection. Your peace exposes their chaos. And every win you achieve reminds them of what they will never reclaim. They didn't bury you, chosen one. They crowned you. Chapter 15. They ruined their own name, trying to bury yours. They tried to destroy your image with lies, but only revealed who they really were. They ran from person to person, twisting stories, pretending to be the victim. But truth doesn't vanish. It waits. And now time is peeling back every mask they wore. The same people they once fooled are starting to see through them. The whispers they started have turned into warnings. Be careful. Watch them. Their own web of lies has become the trap they can't escape. Doors are closing. Trust is fading. And the very reputation they tried to protect is crumbling in plain sight. You didn't have to fight back. You stayed silent. And that silence became your proof. Your peace spoke louder than their performance. You rose above, and that's what destroyed their narrative. They said you were broken, but your glow tells a different story. Now the world sees the truth. Their words carry no weight. Their charm has expired. You never needed revenge. Your evolution did it for you. The universe didn't just clear your name. It exposed theirs. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you, even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this powerful message from God Connection has resonated deep within your spirit, please show your support. Click that subscribe button to join our community and never miss a divine confirmation. Share this video with other chosen ones who need to hear this message of vindication. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. And if this ministry is a blessing to you, please consider supporting our work by clicking this super thanks button just below this video and leaving a $10 donation. Your generosity helps us spread God's word and brings hope and light to countless others. No gift is too small, but every bit helps us continue this mission. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for more powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We have loved following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from God Connection.